It's Crypto Bro here with the Crypto Bro Show. Welcome back, my friends, to another hot video. Today is Saturday, April 19th, and in today's short, quick video, we'll be discussing Bitcoin, but more specifically, can Bitcoin hit 138,000 in the next 3 months? So, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this article, but before we dive in too deep, I do have to hit you guys with this nice little legal disclaimer. Alright, guys, please remember, channel is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. It is a part of educational content. You should always consult a professional for legal advice. Once again, guys, this is not financial advice. As you guys can see, article came out about 3 hours ago from a guy named William Suberg. And he's saying we could reach 138K in 3 months, guys. So he's done some research here. And, for Peterson, it says the U.S. high yield index effective yield currently at over 8% holds the key. He's saying, like, this has happened 38 times since 2010. He's got, like, a bunch of data here, right? And he says that 3 months later, Bitcoin was up 71% of the time. The median gain was 31%. If it went lower, the worst was 16%. So, cool, man. So, yeah, long story short, guys, I know your time is valuable. He's saying right over here, guys, this likely puts Bitcoin between 75,000 and 138,000 within 90 days. So let's go over here to TradingView, guys. Let's kind of draw this out. All right, let's get some lines over here. All right, so we trading between these lines. All right. Let's kind of go up over here. Alright, let's get another line over here going. Alright, guys, so for a lot of you guys may not be thinking that this is possible, but Bitcoin's had some nice pumps. You guys can see over here. Nice little 79%. So it would just have to pump up just a little bit more from where we're at. You guys can see about like 65%. And we would hit that price target. So I think this is pretty realistic, guys. Let's see. Let's put an arrow over here. You guys can see that price target, 138,000. Let's see. Let's make this green. All right. So yeah, guys. This is pretty realistic, Worst case scenario, we go down a little bit. Just go down a little bit over here, right? Yeah, that's going to be a good support level at 75,000 right over here. It's a good buying opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you go down even more. Say you go down to like 30,000. Highly unlikely, but at the end of the day, guys, I'd love an opportunity to buy some more Bitcoin right at 30,000. So pretty much whatever happens would be a good opportunity. But yeah, from what we can see here, we are on the daily right now. Looks like for the moment we're kind of going down with like the VWAP over here at the bottom. Let's see. Let's point this out to you guys. You guys see that kind of going down? Yeah, this stuff is right over here, so that's not looking too good. So, but yeah, crypto is gonna crypto. It's gonna fluctuate a bit. No big deal. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let's see. Yeah. Make sure if you're doing some leverage trading, you don't over leverage, because yeah, it's always gonna have ups and downs and stuff. But yeah, for right now, it could be going down and then could go down and then bounce right up and boom. Crypto can do some crazy stuff. As you guys have seen over here in the past. Let's see. Let's kind of draw this out. So crypto's had lines like that where it just goes up. You guys see, like boom. So it's plausible, Crypto can do some crazy stuff, guys. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, guys, if you're not dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, I think you're going to be disappointed within the next 2 to 3, 4, 5 years. These should be some good years for the crypto market. As more and more people gain exposure to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all these major cryptos, but especially, the main giant here, right? The main giant, which is Bitcoin itself. We have to remember the facts here, guys. There's only 21 million Bitcoins, and there's over 20 million millionaires just in America alone. So if every millionaire went to their financial advisor and said, "Hey, get me a Bitcoin," they couldn't facilitate that, guys. So you guys have to understand how rare this is. This is super duper rare. So at the end of the day, Bitcoin in the future could hit some crazy numbers. It could do $1 million a coin. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let me go ahead and pull up those articles here. And as you guys can see, we got a lot of YouTubers talking about it too. Just one day ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And right here, this article from 3 days ago. Bitcoin could hit 1 million if US buys 1 million Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and click on that. Alright guys, so this article came out over here April 16th, as you guys can see right over here. Bitcoin could hit 1 million if US buys 1 million Bitcoin. So guys, I've been telling you guys this for a while. How rare is this? Imagine buying something right now. Imagine you bought just one of them for 85,000. Next thing you know, exactly this happens, right? Bitcoin hits $1 million a coin because the US government just buys up 1 million coins, right? Or instead of like selling all those coins that they seized, because the US government has also seized a lot of coins in the past, right? They seized them from like the Silk Road and all those like criminals and stuff. And they made a mistake. They sold the coins. Instead of selling the coins, they did the math. They could have just kept the coins and the value would have just went up. So at the end of the day, we've all made mistakes with crypto, myself included. Selling Bitcoin is a big mistake unless you really, really need the money, right? Because this thing will definitely hit $1 million a coin. So let's kind of zoom out over here. Let's see. Oop. They'll really go up over here. But yeah, $1 million a coin is not that far-fetched, guys. It could do some crazy, crazy stuff. Let's say a country collapses. Let's say Europe collapses or something crazy goes down. I think a lot of people would put their money in Bitcoin because it's kind of like the new gold. And a lot of guys have been saying, gold is worth about 20 trillion too. If you take the market cap of gold and just take a little bit of that money and put it in Bitcoin, Bitcoin could do some crazy, crazy stuff if we get the gold market cap or some of these stock guys come in. As you guys can see, there's a lot of money in the world, guys. Look, the total market cap of all these companies, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, these companies, all these companies that you use, right? There's over 10,000 companies here, right? All these companies are worth over $106 trillion. In comparison, Bitcoin, ETH, everything else combined is only worth 2.5. So I want you guys to put that in comparison. This is a pretty small market cap. Bitcoin itself is only worth 1.7 trillion, which if you compare that to a company, Bitcoin's pretty comparable to Amazon, which Amazon is pretty big, but I wouldn't put it past Amazon to continue to grow for the next 10 years. Because fun fact about Amazon, like half the people that live in America have an Amazon Prime membership, and everybody buys from Amazon because they have like the fastest shipping. So I think Amazon will continue to grow, kind of like Nvidia's been growing, kind of like Microsoft, Apple. These are some big boy companies, and Apple at one point was nearly worth close to 4 trillion, as you guys can see, but then the market just kind of took a hit. Over here, as you guys can see, December 27th, 2024, Apple was worth 3.86 trillion, and now it's only worth 2.9. So once again, these companies, while they're worth a lot, they've been worth a lot more in the past. The market's taken a hit. I think it's time that the market recovers, guys. I think especially like Trump has to do something for this market. Because think about this, right? This is kind of like his legacy too, guys, right? If he there's been some talks of this, and not to get like too political, but this guy is thinking about potentially running for a third term, right? Now, if he were to do that, he's not going to win. Not if he crashes the market during this term. So we need to see some crazy, crazy numbers, right? So at the end of the day, guys, Bitcoin, I think it could do it. Let's see here. You guys can see we got a lot of room to grow. We could just continue to just boom. And maybe it takes a few years, but hey, who knows? Maybe it's quicker. Maybe it's quicker than we're thinking. Let's see. Let's kind of draw this out here. Boom, boom, boom. We keep going. We keep growing. Yeah, if we're not at a million by like 2034, I'd be like super surprised. I'd be really worried because like this thing just keeps going up and to the right, as you guys can see over here. Let's kind of do that little percentage thing. Bitcoin's gone up like some crazy percentage. So as more and more people come into it, as more and more countries, they collapse. You know, their currencies are completely devaluated. You know, you see pictures of these countries. Like, let's see if we can pull this up over here. All right, so we got some examples here of currency crises that have led to recessionary periods. And let's see, let's go to Google Images here. There's guys that are like going to the store with like a bunch of money just to buy like a little bit of bread. You guys see this? Like, currencies completely collapsed. You guys see this? Look. 10 countries where a loaf of bread costs a bucket full of cash. Look at this. Alright guys, I got hit with like a pop-up on that other article. But look guys, in Zimbabwe, bread costs like 10 million in their currency? That's crazy, bro. Like, so this is kind of like worthless. Like, imagine that happening to America, bro. That'd be crazy. Like, look at that. The person going with all this just to buy some bread, bro. That's crazy, bro. You guys see that? I think this happened in like Venezuela and stuff too, right? Let's see here. Wow, the country with inflation at 1,000,000%. You guys see this? Their currency is completely worthless, guys. Imagine this happening over here. Yeah, not to get too political, guys, but yeah. You know, there's been guys saying in the past, you know, just like this article says, you know, if the U.S. government buys some Bitcoin, we could hit 1,000,000 a coin. If the currency collapses, it could also hit 1,000,000 a coin because people, instead of buying their currency that's worthless, they would buy Bitcoin because, as they've seen in the chart, Bitcoin over time goes up year by year. So let's kind of zoom in over here. As you guys can see, Bitcoin's had some crazy gains. So at the end of the day, guys, don't put 1,000,000 a coin past Bitcoin. You know, don't put 138K past it within the next 90 days. If it continues to trade down a bit, I would say, hey guys, you know, that's a good buying opportunity. You know, it's like buying a car for half off. It's like if you wanted a Tesla. I think Tesla's doing some good sales right now since they got all those haters going on. So you know, yeah, you know, the market's about timing, guys. But yeah, getting rich and investing is just about long-term discipline. So long-term, you know, if you bought Apple when it came out or Bitcoin and you held, you'd be super rich. But don't think that you're late to this thing called Bitcoin, guys. You know, this thing could 10x from here. So 10x is pretty good gains. Imagine you put in 100,000, right? Let's make this simple. And it hits 1,000,000, right? You just 10x your money, right? So that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know too many other markets that are going to do that for you where it's going to be pretty solid and there's not going to be like, you know, stock market manipulation or, you know, a bunch of CEOs that you have to worry who's the CEO, what are they going to do, you know, and all that stuff, right? So yeah, guys, at the end of the day, dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Bitcoin can continue to go up. It's going to be maybe a slow, bumpy road, but it's going to be worth it, guys, you know. This isn't get rich quick, but it's what I like to say. It's kind of like get rich for sure. So if you can get rich for sure, even if it takes 5, 10, 15 years, you guys got to do it. You know, this is like the new stock market, and you're getting in so early, guys. So not to ramble too much, but once again, this is worth 2.5 trillion, And the stock market and all those stocks, as you guys can see, this is worth 106 trillion. So yeah, let's use ChatGPT over here just to give you guys some comparison. All right, guys. So we're gonna do some math over here. If the stock market is worth 106 trillion, and the crypto market is just, you guys can see, 2.5 trillion. How much bigger is the stock market? And what if that money comes into the crypto market? Could Bitcoin explode? Let's see what it says. All right, so how much bigger is the stock market? So it's doing all the math. So answer, the stock market is about 42.6 times bigger. Look at that, guys. You may not be able to see that. Look at that. 42.6 times. That's crazy. All right, let's assume hypothetically a significant portion of that moves into crypto. Even a small percentage could cause a major price surge, as you guys see. So look, it kind of broke it down. 1% here. So let's see, it's a multiplier. So let's say 20% of that market came into crypto. The new crypto market cap would be 23 trillion. It'd be a 9x multiplier. You know what I'm saying? So do some crazy stuff. So we're gonna have it do some Bitcoin modeling here. So all right. So you guys see this? Look at this. So assuming 10% of the market comes to crypto, implied Bitcoin price 333,000. Assuming 50% of the market comes, 1.4 million. Okay. Now let's assume the 20 trillion gold industry, 20% of that comes into crypto. So that's 164,000. Okay. I want you to assume that the 20% comes from gold and the 50% comes from the stock market and 30% new investors. Let's see. Let's run some math over here. Full bull market fantasy. Yes, sir. Let's do it. All right. So the total money coming in. We'd have a lot of money coming in over here, guys. 74 trillion. All right. All right. If all this happened, guys, you guys could hit 1.9 million per BTC. So that's a 28x. And it's all within the realm of possibility if the right global shift happens. The crypto market cap as a whole would be 76 trillion. So still, this is very realistic, guys. As you guys can see, 76 trillion, that money exists. It's over here. There's over 106 trillion. So pretty plausible. You guys know what I'm saying? And once again, guys, there's a lot of CEOs. Binance CEO, Coinbase CEO, they're going to let you know Bitcoin will hit $1 million a coin. It's just a matter of time. So, yeah, you guys heard it here. This has been some long form analysis. Guys, let's try to get like 3 to 6 likes on this video. You serious Crypto Bro fans? Drop a comment. Smoke me out, dog. You know what I'm saying? If you legit, smoke me out for 420, right? So, yeah. Let's keep it real over here, guys. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think we can all make it. If we all just get one coin, right? And we keep that one coin for 10, 15 years, I think life would be good for us, guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, let's try to get 3 to 6 likes, guys. Crypto Bro, signing out.